Beards aren't just a style, they're a statement. But what if your grooming routine could be a ritual of wellness? In celebration of Father's Day, discover how to craft natural beard care products that don't just look good, but they heal, they nourish, and they empower the king within. Let's learn how to make them.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or maybe it's evening. It doesn't really matter what time it is, and it doesn't even matter where you are. We want to welcome you to Wholeness Wednesdays. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and join our host, Beatrice Hutchison, as we explore and experience our journey to complete wholeness.
Welcome to another episode of Completely Whole's Wholeness Wednesdays. I'm your host, Beatrice Hutcherson, and I am here again here on the channel where we talk about wholeness in every area of life. We talk about stability and health and healing and wholeness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And so this month, in the month of June, we are continuing with our series of June creations. And so today we are going to make something especially for the men. And so happy belated Father's Day to all of you men or father figures, fathers out there. However you impact lives, we want to celebrate you today. And in honor of Father's Day, we are making some self-care products for men. And so here, as you know, on this channel, we fuse creativity and wellness as well as knowledge to help elevate your everyday life. And so, as I said, as we just celebrated Father's Day, we're going to make something especially for you men everywhere. Every father in any capacity that you pour out or take care of others, right? So this is your time to really focus on you and to be able to implement some self-care into your everyday life. And so we're hearing it all over the place. We're hearing self-care everywhere, right? But now we're starting to hear about men's grooming, right? And so it's starting to take center stage in the wellness world, in the wholeness arena. And so we are going to make this project today, and I think it's perfect for what we're talking about in relation to as a late or after celebration of Father's Day. And so our topic today is beard goals, how to make natural beard balm and oil for healthy skin and hair. So we're making natural beard oil and beard balm, handcrafted with love. And handcrafted using blends that promote healthy skin, strong beard growth, as well as intentional self-care. And so whether or not you want to use it as a gift or a new product to add to your self-care line, to your skincare line, or as just a part of your own grooming routine, this DIY is about more than just beards. It's about confidence, or building confidence, should I say, self-love, and health from the inside out. So first I want to talk to you about why natural beard products matter, right? Because you can go and you can purchase any beard care products. But why is it important to have natural beard products? And so beards are back, as you see them everywhere. People are growing them long and short and wide and scruffy and in all different shapes and types. And so it's important that we understand that although beards are back, doesn't mean that chemicals need to be back, right? Because we know, and we've talked about before, how chemicals can wreak such havoc on our bodies, right? On our skin. Many commercial beard products contain harsh products, right? Like alcohols and silicones and synthetic fragrances, which can lead to dry skin, clogged pores, irritation, or maybe in some cases something worse, right? And so using natural and organic ingredients like the ones we're going to talk about today make so much of a difference. And so some of the ingredients that we're going to be adding in today are jojoba oil. And so jojoba oil, it mimics skin's natural sebum, right? And so it prevents that dryness. We're going to also talk about, because it's one of our ingredients, is argan oil. And so it's rich in vitamin E and antioxidants. And so those are the two of those that I am choosing to use today in the balm, right? But then we also have some other oils that we will also be adding, like hemp seed oil and also argan oil, right? And even some castor oil. So we're going to use a blend of different oils, just because each of those have their own rich benefits that they add to this recipe. But you can substitute for any carrier oil, any oil of your choice, right? Because there are so many out there. You have safflower, you have sunflower, you have grapeseed oil, you have so many different oils, pumpkin seed, all types of different oils. We of course want to stay away from things like canola oil and all of those things, right? Because they're not healthy to cook with either, right? But sometimes people use those for cooking. But we're not talking about those items. We want to look for oils that have beneficial properties for our skin and also for our hair. So do some research, find out what works for you, and maybe if you do make products, if you're a DIYer, then you may already have some favorites. So you may want to look at that. Also, sweet almond oil is also one that is lightweight. And it's deeply moisturizing, right? It's high in magnesium, zinc, and calcium. It promotes the strong beard hair, right? It makes the hair follicles stronger, and it calms skin inflammation and redness, helps prevent ingrown hairs, right? And so I mentioned about the coconut oil, the fractionated one, so that you have the liquid, because we're not including in our hair oil, we're not including any of these solid butters, right? We're putting that in our balm, but in our oil itself, we have to use the fractionated coconut oil because it is in the liquid form. And so coconut oil is an antibacterial, antifungal, also has antifungal properties. And so it softens coarse beard hair, and it seals in the moisture to prevent split ends. It strengthens the hair strands as well, right? And so grapeseed is another one I mentioned. And so that's high in linoleic acid, and it's great for oily and acne prone skin. It reduces inflammation and soothes razor bumps. It's lightweight and non-greasy. It has a non-greasy feel to it. It promotes healthy beard shine. And so it works wonders on the health and the nutrition of your hair, right? And so a beard, just like any other hair, right? It has to have a good environment to grow in, which means the skin under it has to be in good condition. And so if we don't treat it well, if we don't take care of it, if we don't, wash it or moisturize it, then you can run into some issues with your skin, which will in turn give you circumstances or challenges with growing the hair, right? So then you can see blotches and different things like that. So you want to make sure you take care of the skin, right, underneath the hair, and that will promote healthy hair growth. And so I mentioned about our balm, we're going to be using some butters in there, right? So we're going to have some cocoa butter and also some shea butter. And so those are perfect for moisturizing. The beeswax helps to add some shape to it, right? It gives it that balm feel. And so in addition to that, I'm going to use an essential oil blend, right? And so some that are good for the type of product that we are creating today are things like tea tree oil, right? Which is an antimicrobial and antiseptic. It fights beard acne and itch that comes along with it. It keeps hair follicles clean and unclogged. It's refreshing and it has an invigorating scent. Also, peppermint oil is one that you could also use. And I'm naming a few. I use a blend of them, but you could use one or the other. You don't have to use all of those, or you may have your own that you would like to include. And so peppermint oil is one that stimulates the blood flow to hair follicles, right? So it gives that tingly feeling because it starts to stimulate and move that blood towards your hair follicles, and it can boost your beard growth. It also provides a cooling sensation that soothes any type of irritation that you may have. It has an energizing scent that promotes alertness, right? So if you're tired, certainly some peppermint can kind of put a little pep in your step. And so another one is cedar wood oil. And so that balances oil production on the skin, so it doesn't allow the skin, or it prevents the skin from becoming too oily, right? So have a nice balance there. It's an antifungal and antibacterial, has those properties in it. It has an earthy, masculine scent to it, and it's great for calming and grounding. And then the old tried and true lavender oil, it calms the skin, it promotes relaxation, it aids in healing minor skin irritations and cuts. It balances the sebum production, right, that we talked about a little bit earlier. And then eucalyptus oil is another one that can be used. It also starts that stimulation going, right? It can clear up clogged pores and also your sinuses, right? So you use it on your skin for your beard, but it also could clear up those sinuses, as well as peppermint will do the same. It provides an antimicrobial protection. It has a refreshing scent that also awakens the senses. And so I mentioned quite a few, but it's not limited to this as well. You can use your own blends or your own favorites. But these are natural ingredients, right? And so natural is important, right? So it doesn't just, these ingredients don't just help to kind of style your beard, but they heal the skin beneath, right? And so that's very important because, sometimes you shave, you get the ingrown hairs, and it can cause all types of issues, right? I mentioned about the blotching, or sometimes, it'll grow in some areas, not grow in other areas, or thin in some areas and not, and full in other areas. So it's important that we take care of the skin that is beneath the beard, right, or the mustache. And so it's important that we take time to care for that skin, right, so that it's healthy, and so that it can promote growth, right? So we have that evenness, and you can grow it to whatever you like, however full you want it, however long you want it, but you want it to be healthy. That's the key. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, proper beard care can reduce acne, itchiness, and patchiness by supporting the skin's barrier and balancing moisture levels. So those are some benefits. We talked about some of the benefits of our ingredients that we'll be using. And then just to kind of mention again what we'll be using, I talked about all the different oils, right? So you want to use oils that have good benefits to them, that benefit the hair as well as the skin, right? So we talked about the jojoba, the argan, we talked about the essential oils. And so in addition to that, as far as some of the tools that I'll be using, for the balm, it is because we are using the harder butters, right? We're using some shea butter and cocoa butter with the beeswax. So it's going to be, it has to be melted down, right? And so with that, I have my double boiler here that I'll be using that has my burner here. So that will be melting the wax, as well as my scale. It's very important to have the scale because you want to make sure you have the right measurements of everything. You want to have a nice blend of everything going on, and I'll share the recipe. I'll share it up on the screen, but I'll also share it down in the description box below in case you would like to make it, and I hope that you will. But also I have some bottles here, and so my bottles are the 2-ounce bottles, and I chose black. And then also these are 3-ounce tins, right? That screw off and are being used for the balm, right? So we want to make sure we have something to stir with. Make sure we have a pitcher or something to stir in, right? So those are the things just kind of basically that we'll be using. And then, of course, with our bottles, as I mentioned before in the past, I do make my own labels. And so you can also do those. You can also hand write on them. An address label and just hand write on them if you're keeping them at home for yourself, just to label what they are. But it's very important that you do that. And also, I always have my isopropyl alcohol, and I always make sure that I disinfect my area as well as go back and sanitize it by spritzing with my alcohol. I usually will kind of douse it a bit, rub it down, and then come back and spray it and allow it to air dry, as well as everything else that I use, all of my tools. I also use the containers that I'll be putting it in or utilizing to make it. Everything is sanitized. And so with the balm, I mentioned about the beeswax and the shea butter, right? And also the coconut butter, right? But it doesn't have to be those. As I mentioned, you can put in coconut butter if you would like, or you can put in some other kinds of butters. You can even do coconut oil, right? Not the fractionated, but the coconut oil. You can use that as well to include, right? So you're going to do a mixture of your butters, right? Your harder butters, but then also some oils that are good and have lots of benefits for the skin and hair, right? So I tried and true is the castor oil, right? And Jamaican black castor oil, if you have it, does wonders on hair and skin. And so it also has a lot more properties, but we'll talk about that at another time. But you can choose whatever you'd like to put in, as well as your essential oils. And the essential oils add an additional some extra goodness, as I like to say, to the product, right? But you want to get something that helps to stimulate that growth, right? And so you can use things like peppermint, as I mentioned, eucalyptus, even rosemary can really, really promote hair growth. So those things that will add a little tingle to the skin, but it gets that circulation and that blood flow going, and that's what you want when you're trying to promote growth. And so now let's go through our recipe. Let's make them together. Let's make our beard balm and our beard oil. Let's do it together. All right, as always, the area has already been disinfected and also sanitized. So everything has been sprayed down with alcohol and wiped down, and then also sprayed and allowed to air dry. So I'm going to make sure we have a very, very sterile environment. And so first we're going to just separate our ingredients for our beard balm. And so because that needs to melt, so we need to have that and prepare that. So we're going to put this on the scale here, and we are working in ounces here. So I'm just going to tear that out. And so we are going to use our first ingredient. Let's see here. We're going to about 0.8 here. We're using organic beeswax pellets, and I like the white ones, so these are much easier to work with. So we're going to go 0.8. Then we're going to also use some cocoa butter. We're going to tear this out. Cocoa butter will also be 0.8. And we're using here some natural unrefined cocoa butter. Not sure if you could see that, but 0.8 is what we're looking for. bits here to help us get to the 8. There we go. That's 0.8 of the cocoa butter. Now we're going to put in some shea butter, some natural, unrefined, organic shea butter. And the links to all of our supplies will be down below as well. As usual, we're looking for another 0.8, so we're going to tear that out. And this is our shea butter. 0.6. Let's see if that brings us to 0.8. A little bit over. Break a little piece of that. 0.8. There we go. Exactly. So those are our hard butters that we're putting in, or our solid butters I should say, and then we're going to melt those down, and we have our double boiler here, so we're just going to put that off to the side as we measure out our liquid ingredients. So we're going to just tear that out, and our first liquid oil that we're going to use will be organic jojoba. And so we are also for the jojoba looking for 0.8. Since these are liquid fluid ounces, we're going to go here for 0.8. There we go, 0.8. The jojoba. Going in also with our Evil organic extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to tear that out, looking for another 0.8. There we go. A little bit over, it's okay. Alright, we're going to tear that out. And we're going to go in with our organic fractionated coconut oil for another 0.8. There we have our 0.8, and then we're going to go in with our organic hemp seed oil. Just make sure this is open. Tear this out. Alright, I'm going to go for 0.8 here as well. Alright, there's our 0.8. Oh, I'm sorry, not 0.8. We're going to 1.3 of this. The others with a 0.8. We put a little bit more of the hemp seed oil. Alright, so we have there our liquid oils, and we're just going to put that to the side as we wait for our hard butters. And then we're going to blend it all together. Alright, and so just to let you know what we put in our essential oil blend, just a few here. And so these are the essential oils that I use. So I use a blend of several, because many have each of them have their own benefits that they bring to this wonderful balm. So I'll share a few with you. So, and I use Young Living, as you've heard me say in the past, if you've ever watched my channel. And it's because I trust them. I know, how I understand the process, and I know, where they are, how they're produced, just every step of the process. So I trust them. But you can choose whichever you like. These are a little bit more costly. So if this is out of your reach, you certainly want to choose oils that you also do your research on, right? You want to make sure that the distilleries, where they are, how they are kept, you want to understand the whole process. You want to make sure, of course, that there are no toxins involved, no pesticides, that they're cruelty-free, making sure that they are absolute high quality, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to research and make sure you can get the highest quality for what you're able to afford, right? And so whatever essential oil you choose, one of them that I am using is peppermint, of course. Peppermint is very invigorating. It gives you a cooling sensation, but it does open up the pores, right? And so if there's anything that's happening on the skin, this really does help. It also works as an anti-inflammatory. So peppermint can really, really help. Rosemary is another one. And so rosemary can also help with the skin. It's very good for really promoting like hair growth, and really helping to support the health of hair. And so that's what rosemary does. We also have a little bit of lavender, and everyone is very familiar with the lavender, but it is very cleansing and soothing to the skin. It reduces the appearance of blemishes, also can be antimicrobial and also anti-inflammatory. We also have a little bit of cedarwood that I also put in. And so cedarwood also along those same lines is very, very conditioning for the skin and the hair. So that is why we are including that here. Also some sandalwood as well. So this is the sacred sandalwood. And so this has a bit of, it improves the look of the skin, the appearance of the skin, the nourishment of the skin. And so that's what the sandalwood does. And then cinnamon, as you also know, is invigorating. You may find that in most of your beard products. But it is very good for the skin, the cinnamon bark. It has a wonderful scent, of course. It's sweet and savory. But it also can open up those pores and get blood circulation going to those pores. And then lastly, frankincense is what I'm using in this particular, and what I'm doing today, and the ones that I made personally. I have a few additional ingredients, but this is what we're doing in our recipe today. And so this is what I am sharing with you. So those are essential oils, and so those are what I have already pre-mixed into this. And so we're going to make sure that per bottle, and so today I am using for the tins that I have, right? These are very, very cute tins. And so they have, these are 3 ounces, 3-ounce tins. And so they come with a beautiful little screw top, right? So we're going to use those. So we're only going to do 2 of those today. And again, everything has been sanitized. And so that is what we're going to use. So here, just going in here with our oils. Our oils are almost ready. And then as always, I do also prepare my own labels. So I'll come back at the end, or I'll put in an image to show you how it looks after everything is all packaged up and put in, and the labels on. Okay, and so let me just put this here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to put that in there. As our oils are now ready, I'm just going to turn that off. I have a little hot plate that I use. Alright, and I'm going to pour this into my plastic. And so hopefully you can see that, yes. And we're going to come in, pour in our hot oils, and you'll see it's completely dissolved. So you want to make sure that they are completely dissolved so you don't have any issues with like graininess or anything like that. And so you just want to pour that into your existing oil. Make sure you get every bit of it. All right. All right, so now we're going to go in with our plastic measuring cup with the spout there. We're going to mix it right in here. All right, so we're going to go in first, and we are now making our beard oil. So we're going to go in and do 2.4 ounces of this. All right, 2.4 ounces of our avocado oil. This is also wonderful to cook with. So that's our avocado oil. Then we're going to also now go in with our grapeseed oil. This is also okay for cooking, much better than those vegetable oil and canola oil. So this is a lot better. So you have the grapeseed oil here. And so with the grapeseed oil, we're going to go in with 1.2 ounces. So we're going to just tear that out, go up to our 1.2. All right. Tear that out. We're going to go in with 1.2 ounces of our jojoba oil. Almost there. All right, 1.2 of the jojoba. Now we're going to go in with our castor oil. We have our organic castor oil here. And so we're going to go in with 0.6 of the castor oil. Tear that out. I almost forgot to do that. 0.6 of the castor. Castor oil is a much thicker consistency. A lot heavier than the other oils. Alright, there we go. And these oils have wonderful benefits for skin and hair, which is why we're using them today. Each of them have their own set of benefits that they bring. So now we're going to bring in some argan oil. Another lightweight oil. We're going to do another 0.6 of that. go with the 0.6 of the Argan. I'll put a bit of vitamin E oil in here. So we want to do about 0.3. Vitamin E is not just an antioxidant, but it's also very, 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 very moisturizing. All right, there we go. And that's just the vitamin oil, organic vitamin E oil. All right, so there we have it. That is our blend of oils, and so you do not have to use the same oils that I use. Whatever blend, do your own research and look for the benefits that you would like to have included here. And so then you just add your essential oils. Here we are looking for and remember, each one will have about 2 mils in it, right? About 40 drops. There we go. So our oil is all done. And then you just want to mix it. Make sure that everything is blended well. And again, there's no need to warm up this mixture. No hard oils or butters to melt, so everything is liquid. So all you have to do is mix in your essential oils, and then we are all set to pour. So we are using these little beautiful bottles. These are glass bottles, and these are 2 ounces each. So we're just going to go ahead and just pour. Ooh. See, hopefully your hand is steadier than mine. And also a lot harder to see as you fill it up. Kind of look from the inside, can't see through the glass. All right, let's see. Let's have this help us since we can't see. All right, so we tear it out, use the empty bottle to tear it out, and then let's go ahead and add it. Let's see if we have our 2 ounces. Nope, a little bit more. Hopefully I don't spill this. Actually, guess what? Let's use. Okay, and I have a small bit on the side, and you see that that's already starting to solidify. We had a lot more in those tins, but this one just has very, very little. And so you see it has that balmy consistency. Not sure if you can see that. I'll show you what it looks like on the back of my skin. And so as a balm, and again, still very, very soft because it's not yet totally solidified. But you see it has a wonderful shimmer there and very invigorating. You can feel that it's starting with the circulation. Not hot, not very cool, but just enough to get a little tiny bit of a tingle. It feels wonderful. All right, and so we'll come back and show you what that looks like as the finished product once it's all done. All right, and so here we have it. We have the finished product with my labels on it. I'll show you a close-up of that. But we have these, and so the recipe that I shared makes 3 of the 2 ounces, so it's 6 ounces of each. And so with the beard balm, again, so I have a label that has all the pertinent information, right, as well as something on the top. But it's just to let you know. You can decorate it however you would like to. This is just how I do mine. But just to show you what that looks like after it has solidified. And it smells great. And so that's the balm, and then we have the oil here. So it made 6 and 6. So I had 2 of those, just showing you these as the finished product. But I'll show you a picture a little bit more close up so you can see what the finished product looks like. And so when you use these, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you shake it well, right? Make sure that you shake it well, and then to use it, you want to use your dropper, and you want to add about 3 to 5 drops on your fingertips, and then you want to massage that into your beard and the skin beneath it, right? And then you want to comb through it or brush, however you do it. And so although we're talking about this for your beard primarily, right, but also for your mustache and also for the hair on your head, you can also use the oil there because it will promote hair growth, will control the sebum level, right? And so that will control like dandruff and itchiness and all of those sorts of things. So it's all around, it can all around be beneficial to your skin, which will promote healthy growth. I want to just share this part with you. I want you to know self-care is not just for women, right? It's for everyone. Self-care is manly. Yes, it is. And so it's not just about grooming, right? But it's about the holistic health. And so we want to, make sure that if you're a woman watching this, you want to make sure that you encourage the men in your lives to take care of themselves. And if you're a man watching, you want to implement self-care practices into your everyday lifestyle, right? Because in order for you to care for yourself, you have to be intentional about it. And I talk about that quite often on this channel, because if you are not intentional about it, right, it will not happen. And usually we're so busy going about our day, doing all the things that we have to do, that we are not intentional enough about taking care of ourselves. We take care of everyone else. We work to make sure that we provide and that we take care of and that we help and that we guide, that we lead, all of those things, right? But we don't take the time for ourselves. So we want to make sure that you are intentional about taking care of yourself, right? It's even more so important because men will keep going, right? And not sometimes stop and slow down. Sometimes women will have to do it. But across the board, I feel that it's something that we don't do very much of. So it is important that we do it and we be intentional about doing it so that we can incorporate it into our everyday lifestyles. And so it doesn't matter whether you're bearded or if you're bald. This is about wholeness, right? From the inside out. So then that also means, right, if you want to have good skin, right, you also want to make sure that you take into your body things that are healthy. You want to make sure that you drink water. You want to make sure that you hydrate properly, right? So there are things that you also need to do with your health because it reflects from the inside outward. And so I want you to understand self-care is not a luxury. It is a discipline that keeps us whole. And that's something that's said by Dr. Thema Bryant, a psychologist and a minister, but that is so true. It's not a luxury. It's not something that we could, maybe do, right? But it's something that it's a discipline that we need to incorporate into our lives because it's important to take care of us. We can't take care of others if we do not take care of ourselves. And so in celebration of Father's Day, and it can be at any time. It doesn't have to be Father's Day, although that's a day that's highlighted to celebrate the men in our lives. But we can choose any day to honor the kings in our lives with something handmade, right? Something that can heal the skin, that could be healing and rejuvenating, as well as can also help to add to the wholeness in their lives as well. And so we made this together, and it's a simple product, has a few additional steps, right? But something that is very easy to make once you just have all the products. And so, as we've talked about in past episodes, you want to make sure, so you can give this as a gift, but you can also sell them. As I said earlier, you can add it to your skincare line, or you can decide to start one, right? Selling men's skincare, right? You can certainly do that. And what it will do is it will create another stream of income for you, right? And so we've been talking about with the June creations, creating another stream of income. And so you can create these things for yourself to enjoy yourself, to implement some self-care into your life, or to those that are around you, right? But then you could also create another stream of income in that you could sell the products, and you can make sure that you do your research, and so you price them accordingly. You want to make sure that you take into consideration all of your supplies that you purchase, even down to your oils, the percentage of oils that you use. You want to make sure you check the quality of your oils, right? And of all of the ingredients that you use, you want to make sure that you pay attention to the quality. Sometimes you can just buy something that's very, very inexpensive, but will it accomplish the same thing that we're trying to accomplish, right? And so, as you know, it's important to have your brand, right? Find out what your niche is. What is it that you're going for? And so for me, it's about wholeness, right? And so having that physical wholeness as well as the financial wholeness. But for me, my brand is to make sure that we have organic and very natural products that could really cause healing to our bodies, to our skin, just to our systems, right? So creating that balance. And so that's what my brand is. And so yours may be something different. It may be something else that you're after. Maybe you want to go after it for the fragrance, not for the healing properties, but maybe for the fragrance of it all, right? And so that is something that you could also do. Think about what it is that you want to do, but it can be a very lucrative stream of income for you, especially during holidays like Father's Day or birthdays or anniversaries, right? Those types of special days, or on those just because moments. And when you want to give something nice nice and healthy, right? Or something that really can benefit the men in our lives. And so please, I hope that you enjoyed what we talked about, but try out the recipe for yourself. Even if you don't decide to sell it, make it and give it to someone in your life, and I'm sure that they will enjoy it. I make it for my husband, right? So, and he enjoys the products as well. So these can definitely be another stream of income. And so I also encourage you. I am going to leave the recipe. I'll put it up as well as share it in the description box below. But also, please do head over to my page. I'll also put a link to that down in the description. You can go to my Square store or even to my Shopify store, to my website, and you can purchase the items yourself. If you don't want to make them, you say, oh, this is nice to watch, but I don't have the time for it. Or you just have no interest, right? You can also please make sure that you buy for that special someone in your life, and they will certainly enjoy it, I promise. And also, you can check out the other items that are there if you'd like. And then also for all of the ingredients and the supplies that I use, I will also include an affiliate link to those also in the description box below. And I do have to let you know that it is an affiliate link, which means I'll get a few pennies from your purchase. It will be no extra cost to you, but it will be a few extra pennies for me just for recommending the product. And so these are wonderful to make. They are, well, for me, they are definitely soothing. And this is my therapy, making products. I like to do things with my hands. And so, but the aroma that comes from it is so soothing, right? And so it really can help lift your mood. It can help to soothe you. It's very refreshing, and it's just wonderful to make. And it's wonderful to do something that can be a blessing to others, that can help others know how much you love and appreciate them. So although Father's Day has passed, right? You can still honor the men in your lives, the kings in your life. Let them know how special and appreciated they are. And so what I will do is I'll also include a natural grooming guide. It'll just be a PDF, but you could download that for free. The link to that will also be down in the description box. And if you'd like me to share my labels, or the template for the labels that I use, you can certainly just put a comment in, let me know, and I could definitely add the link to the description if that's something that you would be interested in. And so please make sure that you stop by the sites or one of the sites and see and purchase. Look at the products that we have there, more specifically our men care products, because that's what we're focusing on today. And so remember that it is God that gives you the power to get well. So there's so many different ways, so many different opportunities, different things that are available to us to allow us to be able to add additional streams of income to our lives. And while we add additional money, right, we add some things that allow us to take a little bit better care of ourselves. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for joining in and for being here. If you liked what you saw, please make sure that you like and that you share. Please make sure that you comment. Again, let me know if you want me to share those labels, and I will do so if you put it in the comments. Also, as we always close together, let us affirm together. We never leave without making an affirmation. And so repeat after me. I decree that I will be intentional about implementing self-care practices into my everyday life. And I declare that I will use what I have in my hands to create additional streams of income that will lead me towards financial wholeness. Wonderful. My prayer for each of you is that you will be made whole in every area of your life.
We thank you for sharing this time with us here at Wholeness Wednesdays. Thank you for joining us to explore and experience this journey to complete wholeness. Please remember that we are only an email away. Your questions and input are welcome via bhutch@completelywhole1.com. See you next time here at Wholeness Wednesdays.